What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas and hopefully you'll have a very happy New Year. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and keep going through our Lake Fork breakdown. We're now on our second video for offshore hotspots for Lake Fork. Got some good feedback from you last time. Let's go ahead and keep this thing going until we finish out the lake, see what we can find. Here we go. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump back in here to Lake Fork. On the first video, what we did is we actually went up Big Caney here and we went through all of these different waypoints. We came back down, we went up Little Caney, and actually we didn't go up Little Caney yet, my bad. We actually came out here to the mouth of Big Caney, and this is where we ended, right here where you see this little orange fish. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start right here and we're going to work our way up Little Caney, go up there, and also see how much farther we can get in about a 30-minute video. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this thing and talk about what we see here. Now, this area right here, obviously, I can't mark every single offshore hotspot on Lake Fork for you because I'd have to be marking a ton of stuff. And so I'm clearly just marking, the more higher percentage areas. But as we do these breakdowns, I can really talk to you about it more and give you some more details. So right in here is a very good place, to find some fish. It's access to some really deep water. You've got a nice little point that's out here that we talked about last time. You've got a roadbed that goes in here. So if I zoom in a little bit, there's a roadbed that goes right through here, 15 foot. You got a nice little hump that's right here as well. You got a saddle going on right there. If you move a little bit further back, and you come over here, you've got these two little points, right? So those could be good. And then if you go just a little bit further back, well, now you've got a little secondary point in here as well that you could check out. And then you've got this main lake point, which I know is good. I've caught fish out here before that has a really nice little tabletop and then access to some really, really deep water out there on Lake Fork. So that area right in there, I've got some hot spots for you there, but don't just hone into just the spots that I'm showing. Pay attention to why I'm marking them and see if there's things that are familiar or similar to them around there. If there are, go check them out, like that point, saddles. You've heard me talk about saddles. You've heard me talk about humps. So lots of good stuff that's out there. All right, let's keep moving up. Let's go ahead and go on up in here to Little Caney. I'm going to zoom into this area right in here and we'll talk about it really quick. So the first thing that I really like about this spot is right here. You see this little creek that comes in? And you got a pretty nice little long extended point that comes out here, but right about midway through that point, you've got a little secondary point that sticks out right here. And that's probably where that creek channel is slamming up against it. And you've also got a culvert that's down in that area too. So that spot right in there, we'll zoom in a little bit, right in there in that area, that looks really, really good. Definitely would go check that out. Now, as we move a little bit further up here, I believe there may be an offshore fish attractor site that's right here as well. We've got them marked on the Google Earth waypoint, so I'm sure we'll see them over there. But the edge of this, you've got this nice point that comes out and big old flat and all of that good stuff. But as you move over here, you get right off the edge of it, right in there. That looks really, really good. A couple other things you might want to look at, right in here. This looks like it could be a potential pond dam or something. Not sure. It's not any deeper here, but something's definitely going on right in here. So, maybe just scan around in these areas where you see these sharp breaks. Just see if you can find anything. This Little Caney to me doesn't have as many like solid points, at least as Big Caney, but there's still tons of opportunity in Little Caney. And it's where I spend the majority of my time. Actually, I love fishing up in this area. So going on up in here, we've got a point that's up here. So definitely want to check that out. Nice little flat top. You've also got a pond dam that's over here. So you for sure want to check that out. I'll zoom out and kind of show you where I'm at. So we've spun around the top here, and now we're probably about maybe a quarter way up. And right there's where that pond dam was. So we talked about this point. We talked about the pond dam. Another good point right here. You can see it. Look how nice flat top that thing has. And then over here too, another really good point as well. So let's keep moving up. We marked those. I didn't see too much going up kind of this bank line. I mean, there's some opportunities there, but nothing too major. But this next spot, and we also marked it on Google Earth. This next spot is a very good spot, and it's produced some very large fish as well. And that's right out here on this little hump where Lee Livesay did so much damage. But if you look at this thing from Navionics, it looks good as well. Man, you can tell there's a clear big hump that's out here in 7 foot of water, and then you've got breaks on both sides. But what this doesn't show is that there's a really big hard spot right there where I have that pin at. Also, there's some underwater bridge and debris and stuff like that. There's some additional rock and stuff that's out here. So this is just a really good area to fish around, especially go out and check out the Google Earth video and find out where that rock was. It's like rock or a culvert or something, but find out where that is and fish close to that. And that's gonna be a really good area for you to check out. Now, also on the back side of this island, you've also got this little creek. So as you follow the creek back, you're going to find a roadbed that's back here as well. Somewhere, let me zoom in here and find it. So we're going to come up here. Here's where at the back of the creek, here's the roadbed. Sorry. You got a roadbed that comes right here. So that culvert's right there on that creek channel. But then also, if you follow that roadbed a little bit further, it tees up to this roadbed right here. And this roadbed, if you get on it and you follow it, I feel like I've kind of taken you off on a chase. But if you get on this roadbed and then follow it back to here, this area right in here is really good. Really like that area. That's been a productive area for me before. And then also follow the roadbed the other way and fish right here, right where this submerged culvert is. And that can be a really good area to fish as well. And then the last thing would be right up in here as we get up here off to the right side. I just like how this little point sets up. I believe this creek channel gets a little bit closer to that. But right in here is a really good area to take a look at. You've got some really good contours going on right there, but I don't know why, but just right there, right off the edge of that thing seems to be a pretty decent little spot to go fish. All right, so let's move on up. Let's go up here. There's definitely some stuff you could check out as you're going through here. Get off to where these ledges are and see if you find some stuff out there. But for the most part, you're getting up here. You're probably getting into more shallow fishing. You're about done with offshore. But as you come up here and you get up the Little Caney Creek, come right over here and focus on this little creek channel that's right here that comes right outside of this little dock. Comes over here. It's got a really nice bend. Gets really close to the land right there, and that is a really good place from an offshore standpoint to find some biggins. All right, so let's move on up. I guess we're not even up to the hairy stuff yet, so we're gonna keep moving on up. We're gonna follow this little creek channel that's going around here. Now I like this point right here. You've got a nice little creek bed that comes out here very close to the point. You've also got another creek channel that's coming up fairly close to here, so they could bail out right in here and kind of feed and stuff like that. So I really like that. I also like this spot up here as well, where the point comes up and the creek channel just swings right up against the edge of that point. So right off the edge of that point where that creek bed is going to be a really good spot as well. Now, if we get farther up in here, it just gets really shallow. So I don't have anything else from an offshore standpoint up there, but let's kind of go back. And let's go back to where we started on that roadbed a while ago. I think this is it right here. Yeah, this was the roadbed I was telling you guys about earlier. And now we're going to go ahead. That's by Hideaway Harbor as well. We're going to go down just from where that ramp is at Hideaway Harbor. And we're going to move over here just to the left side. And when we do that, we're going to find a pond dam that's over here. So definitely check a look at this pond dam. Fish right around in this area in the middle, and then also fish around this point. Look how nice this point is. Nice flat top. It's got creek channels close to it. It's got pond dam close to it. So it could be a very productive area. And then if you move down and you go down just one more, you've got another really nice little point that has a really big drop off right in between. So real good deep spot right in here. So put some potential ledges, brush piles. You never know what you might find right in that area, but definitely a hot spot. Then we're going to move down. So we're down past Lee's Island. We're going to go on down. Now, there is a pond dam that's back in here that you could check out, but I don't know if you can get to it because it's so dang shallow. So Maybe go check it out, in the spring. But from an offshore standpoint, we'll stay away from it. Next spot would obviously be this island that's out here. Anytime you get these islands or these humps that or points that come way out into the into the lake, you definitely want to check those out. So definitely fish around this area. The reason why I put my point right there was because that's kind of where the contours start to go in, and you'll notice that you've got a pretty good little ledge right there off the back side of this little island right there. Now you also want to swing down, obviously fish around the island and come down here and fish this as well. Um, I don't know what this is. Oh, it just says big bass live here all the time. So definitely fish, just around the island and stuff like that. Maybe come in here and just kind of follow that contour and stay right where that little lip is, and you should have some pretty good success. All right, so we're going to move on down. Next one's going to be this little point right here. I didn't mark this one, but just wanted to point it out to you guys because there is so many little local points that people put on here. You definitely want to check those out. So check out that little point that's right there. The next one that I like from a contour standpoint is definitely this one. Oops, I zoomed in too far. This one looks really, really awesome. So you've got a creek bed that comes through here, and that slams up against the point, like right in that area, and then drops off. So that right in there, just that area right in there, and also on these inside turns, definitely go take a look at that. I mean, that's a prime spot to find some fish. Then we're going to move down. We're getting a little bit further down here now. We're going to go to this point. Let me show you where I'm at so we don't get lost here. Here's the opening, and we're just right up here. There's the island we talked about. We're going to come right up here to this point that's right here. So this point comes out really, really far. So I like how it sets up. And I believe there's some shell bed around this point too. I can't remember, but it's one of these that kind of points that direction that has a little bit of shell bed off the edge of it. So definitely take a look right in here. You got a creek bed that's nearby to you, so that definitely helps. Another little point right in here you could take a look at. Very shallow. So obviously right now it might not be in play with the lake being down so low, but once the lake comes up and gets back to regular pool, this one could be a really good one. I mean, look how flat this thing is, and then it just drops, and it drops right into a creek bed. So always good spots to look. Moving down here, you got several different areas down in here. I mean, I could have marked 100 of them for you here. I like this spot because it comes up really shallow. Notice how shallow it is right here, and then it has these big breaks. But I mean, if I'm fishing out here and this is the style of fishing I'm doing is this offshore stuff, I'm gonna check here obviously, and if I don't see any fish on the side scan and I don't see anything at all on down scan, then I'm just gonna move over and I'm gonna scan the next thing. So I might scan right in here. I'm definitely gonna come out here and scan, right in here with that creek bed being in there, right off the edges, right in here. And I would literally just keep scanning. There's the Texas Park and Wildlife Fish Attractor. I know that's a good little area. Um, there's just so much that you could scan right around in these areas. But if you're limited on time, I mean, let me just point out some hot spots would be right in here. Obviously, right there would be a hot spot for sure. Um, then moving down, I've got the other ones marked for you. Really good ones here, right here as well. I mean, look at this is a major river channel, and it's coming up right by this little feeding platform is what I'm going to call it. This nice little point that comes out here. So this just looks really, 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 really good. I see people fishing here all the time as well. Definitely a community spot, but there's a reason why. Just look at the way it sets up. Now over here it says that there's rocks. I've never been out here and fished these rocks. Might be something to go check out. It's like 50 or 60 foot of water, but I don't know how high those rocks come up, but something to go check out. Also, this little point right in here, I do like it as well. Kind of the same thing, it comes off this whole thing that comes out, but another nice little flat spot. There's a couple of spots I like here as well that if I didn't see them here, up here feeding, I might go check out somewhere, and that'd be like right in here where these contours get really tight, or right here. I mean, look, you're going from 5 foot to 13 foot right there on that little bitty curve that's right there. And you just never know where they're going to set up at, but general areas where these points are going to get you pretty close to them. You got other stuff that could be worthy coming out and taking a look at, like right here, this little point. Maybe this one doesn't get burned up as much as the other ones because it's not as obvious. So come out here and take a look, scan over the top of these points, see if you can find anything in those areas as well. All right, so we're out of Little Katy. We're going to keep moving up, and we're going to go over here to this next point. Kind of the same thing here. You've got a shallow point that comes out, very, 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 very shallow. It'll be interesting to go see this right now. In fact, we've seen it on Google Earth. So if there's something here, I would have marked it on Google Earth as well. But these could be really good areas. These little shallow points that come up because they can collect the shells as well. Also over here looks really, really good. Pull back and kind of show you where we're at. So we came out a Little Caney, kind of went up. I don't know what we're even with. If I had some kind of marker to show you what we're even with, I would, but I don't. So I'm just going to say we're right here off the main lane, but you've got these 3 points right here. That one we just talked about. This one looks good too. It comes way out. So fishing the whole points. And then also right here, fishing this point as well. That could be a good productive point too. Then moving up here, we're going to get a little bit further up. We're going to go inside this little cove right here. And when we get here, another nice little secondary staging area. You've got a creek bed that comes through here, and it's swinging up, likely swinging up against this point right here because you've got some pretty good contours that are right in here. So this is going to be a really good spot for them to set up before maybe they go back up in here to do their spawning. You could also check these little ledges in here, and really the best thing to do is to get the simplistic fishing waypoints and then see if there's a track in there for that creek bed. And if there is, you can just follow that creek bed back and just fish around that creek bed. And if it gets close to anything like the points, a dock, or anything, those are going to be your primo spots to go take a look at. You've also got a nice little point that's out here as well. There is a little marker there. Let's see what that thing says. Oh, it just says Main Lake Point Dur. All right, so we're going to keep going up. Now, take a look at this area. If you're new to fishing, I just kind of break it down for you. These are hotspot areas. One, because if you've ever watched any of my lake breakdowns before, you know that I pay very close attention to creek beds, creek channels, river channels. Those are all very important when you're trying to find bigger groups of fish. That's where the shad population is going to be. Those are the highways for the fish. Those are the areas you want to look at. Well, when you look at this little picture right here that we have in front of us, I mean, this is primo because look at all the creek beds that you have, right? You've got your main river channel that's out here, so it's pretty far out. But you've got these creek beds that come down through here. You've got a creek bed coming through here, which we just talked about. And then if we move up here, this thing splits off into 1, 2, 3 different creeks. So this is going to be a good little area to find some fish. And all of a sudden, when you zoom in, you're like, voila, look at all the spots that local people have put out here, right? And the reason why is because you've got those really good creek channels right in this area, and this is going to be a good area, a good high percentage area to find them. So let's just talk about these real quick. I put 2 spots out here, could have easily put 4 because I agree with everything that they put out here. But let's talk about it first. So obviously this Main Lake Point, you're going to want to scan all around this area here and all around this area here. Then you're going to want to come off this Main Lake Point and find that ledge. There, it looks really obvious right in here, but sometimes these contour maps can throw you off. But find the ledge and fish around the ledge right in here. Fish around this whole area. You got that nice creek bed. You got 2 creek beds coming up to it as well. So right in there, on this side, look at this little point that comes out. Beautiful point, nice flat top. It's got a creek bed off to the left of it. Nice little staging area right here for sure. And then if you move down, now you've got this awesome creek bed that's got some really good contours, some really sharp breaks right in here. But this creek bed ends right here off the edge of this point. So this point is going to be money because you got a creek bed here and you've got a creek bed here as well. So that whole point just sets up really, really, really good. So, surprisingly, I've never gone over here and really spent a lot of time in this cove, but I'm definitely going to now that I've really honed in and looked at the contours. Here's another spot too before we leave this thing, right in here. So right there where that little break is right there, that could be really, really good. And that's a spot that's probably not going to get hammered as much as those other ones. So definitely go back there and look a little bit further back in that cove. We get way far back in here. I marked one more spot. And again, look at the breaks here, right? You got super sharp breaks right in here. This looks awesome right in here. Also, that creek bed clearly does not come straight out in the middle there. It slams a little bit this way and then bounces out. So you've got a creek channel swing that's right here too. So just all kinds of good stuff. Some more drops right in there. Just a really, really, really good pocket right there. So let's go ahead and move up. We actually covered that point. We're gonna go up. This is right where the split happens, where you go over here to the three fingers. Let's go ahead and stop right there. I'm gonna put a little marker there so remember where we stopped at. And when I come back, we're going to continue our way up the side of the lake here, see what we can find. Then we'll circle back down, get back down to the dam, hopefully here in a couple videos, and wrap this lake up. So please make sure to go out and check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We've got all of these waypoints plus the Google Earth waypoints that are out there for Lake Fork, plus 95 other different lakes. So we're up to 96 lakes now. We've got almost every lake in Texas covered, and we're working on lakes in Oklahoma and Arkansas as we speak, as well as Louisiana. I shouldn't leave those guys out. Anyways, guys, go check it out, simplisticfishing.com, and please make sure to go check out our sponsor, omniafishing.com. I've got the link in the description. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.